Hello.
Oh, is this Shirley?
Yes.
Hey, Shirley, this is Michael, also dad with the phone.
Hi.
How are you doing? So, I got your message. I haven't looked into too much of what happened with your sisters, so I just wanted to give you the opportunity one to, kind of fill me in and kind of tell me the story that you guys know, and then we'll get that information out to all the people I know, and then kind of see where we go from there and see if there's anything more we can do. It seems like this has been almost a lifelong thing, or at least the last 20 plus years for you.
Yeah, it has since 1987.
So why don't you kind of tell me, the details of where you're from, and then kind of how this all kind of transpired.
Well, this happened in Grandview Heights, Ohio, and that's originally where we're from, is the Columbus, Ohio area. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Are you there? I'm listening.
Oh, and
Oh,
my sister, Margaret Durant, she was 21 at the time. And all I know is that she had been, the police had thought that she was either raped or maybe consensual, but now it's more towards rape, that she was raped and strangled, and her body was dumped in a field just 2 blocks from her apartment.
So they found her body, and they determined that it was or they determined that it was a rape, and that then she was strangled to death. Did they ever pursue any persons of interest or suspects?
Yeah, they had 2 suspects. One of them was her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend at the time, because he had changed his story a couple times. At first, he had said that he hadn't heard from her in a couple days and that he was worried. And when he went back home, that he had saw on the news that they had found a body and it fit her description. So they contacted the police, and he went and identified her by pictures. But then later on, when he found out that his dad was also a suspect, because his dad had taken out $100,000 life insurance policy on her and named himself the beneficiary. So
wait a minute. So so the boyfriend's father took out a life insurance policy on your sister?
Yes.
And so now he contacts the police and goes to the police and identifies her, and then when does he find this information out about his dad getting this life insurance policy?
Well, it wasn't too long after that when the police were saying that his dad was a suspect because of the policy. So then the ex-boyfriend had changed his story then and said, "Oh, I was with her that night," because they did a DNA test on her and found out that when they did an autopsy on her, they found semen inside of her. So then he said that she wasn't raped, that he was with her that night. But from what I understand, they had tested him and he did not match. But they tried to get a DNA test on the dad, and the dad refused.
Wow. Interesting. So they never pursued anything with the father. Was he able to collect that life insurance policy?
Well, the dad didn't get the insurance money, but I had found a copy of the insurance policy, or some family members found a copy of the insurance policy at my dad's house when he passed away a few years ago. And it said that the boyfriend had it listed the people that got the insurance money, and the ex-boyfriend, he had gotten the majority of the money, and then the rest of it went to my dad and my abusive ex-stepmother. And my dad, when he got his part, he actually came to my apartment bragging that he had gotten the money, and he turned around and gave $10,000 to the dad that was the prime suspect. And I had started yelling at him about that why would he do something like that? And he said that his lawyer had advised him to do that so he wouldn't try and fight for all of it. And I told him that didn't make any sense, because he can fight all he wants. He's the prime suspect. He's not getting any money. But, my dad had paid the dad $10,000, and the ex-boyfriend had gotten the majority of the insurance money.
So in your own, like, since you're, this is your sister and you've been obviously following this case, you've created a Facebook page. Do you have a website with her story or anything created yet?
Yeah, I have a justice page on Facebook called it's called Find My Sister's Killer.
Okay.
And on there I have pictures, and I tell about what had happened to her. Okay.
Do you have any thoughts? It sounds, this one, all of a sudden, it goes, I'm listening, just from what I'm listening to, it sounds like your sister had a boyfriend. The boyfriend's father took out a life insurance policy on her. How long before she came up murdered, did he take out this life insurance policy?
Well, I don't know exactly when he took out the policy. I'm trying to get a copy of that policy, but from what I understand, he had took out the policy. He made one payment, and then before the next payment was due, she was already dead.
Oh my goodness. And your father somehow ended up getting some sort of portion of this settlement. Do you have any feelings anyway? Like, do you feel like your family is involved with this?
Well, just from some checking that I've been doing, I had recently found out that the police had investigated some people who worked in the area where her body was found, and they said that they had seen her car in that location just 2 hours earlier. So, but the car was later abandoned somewhere else, not even near there. So I'm thinking, just from what I know, I think that there was more than one person involved, because to transport her body, apparently in her own vehicle, and dump her there, and then take the car and abandon it somewhere else, somebody had to have been following that car to pick that person up. So I'm thinking it's more than one person, and I believe that it's the boyfriend and the dad. But because of my dad paying the prime suspect in his own daughter's murder for a while I believed, and I still kind of wonder about it, if maybe my dad was somehow involved.
I'm looking at your Facebook page here. You posted or somebody, I guess it would be you, that posted a picture. It looks like it was posted in 2016, and it says, "This is believed to be my sister's murderer," and it's got a guy kind of laying on a couch.
Yeah, that's the boyfriend's dad. I
I
posted that.
That's the boyfriend's dad who took out the life insurance policy.
Yes.
Is he still alive?
No, I had also found out that he passed away just last year.
So this is one of those things where, like, if he was involved in this, or if one of those things, he went to the grave with this, if he was involved in it.
Yes.
Yeah. What is your sister's full name again?
Margaret Cecilia Durant.
Margaret Cecilia Durant. And this all took place back in 1987. Do you have do you know what date it was?
Well, she was last seen alive on, I believe, December 10th, 1987.
Okay.
And then her body was found on the 11th. But she was listed in the morgue for a few days as Jane Doe because she had no ID on her. So it was sometime between the 10th and the 11th when she was killed.
Okay. What with this guy being, is your dad still alive?
No, he died in 2013.
Okay, so your father's deceased. This stepdad's deceased. Is the boyfriend?
The boyfriend's still alive.
The boyfriend is still alive. Do you have information on how to contact him?
Well, I have an address. I don't know how current it is. An address and a phone number. Okay. And even his email. Gotcha. I got off of this website doing a background check on him.
Gotcha. What, you reached out to me with just, asking me if I could help or, bring awareness to this. What kind of is your idea? I mean, if your father's passed away, and then the prime suspect being the dad of the boyfriend, do you feel like you'll ever get answers?
I don't know. I'm hoping that I will. I mean, I believe that somebody out there knows something, even if it's not somebody that's involved. I can't believe that it's went this long without somebody that was involved saying something to somebody, or maybe letting it slip to somebody, and maybe somebody that knows something is probably, maybe they're too afraid to come forward, and maybe they'll be more easily coming forward now that the father is deceased. I don't know, but I'm trying to get the word out there to everybody I can, to talk to anyone I need to get this case solved. I'm hoping that somebody eventually that knows something will come forward.
Yeah. Are you older than your sister?
Yes, I'm a year older.
So you were 22 when this happened, and your sister was 21?
Yes.
Man, this is just such a, my heart is just torn for you. I can't imagine living with this, for this many years and searching, trying to find answers. And the law enforcement, have you ever received the case file or any of the information that they discovered? Because I know you were saying that this was it was kind of a cold case, but did they ever close the case out, or did they just, is it kind of just an open-ended case right now?
Well, after it had happened, they didn't have it open for very long. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a month or two, and they closed it. And then me and my other sister and my brothers had actually got the case put on Crime Stoppers. So the police reopened the case, probably so they wouldn't look bad. But then after it was on Crime Stoppers, then they closed the case again and made it a cold case. But just recently, maybe about a year, the police have since reopened the case again.
Okay. Do you know who the lead investigator is, or do you have a name for the investigator or the police station that's handling this case?
Yeah, it's Grandview Heights Police, and the officer, I actually spoke to him just yesterday, is Officer Brubaker.
What is what's his reaction to this? How does he seem to respond to you, if you spoke with him yesterday?
He won't tell me anything. I asked him all kinds of questions, trying to find out something. I told him that I'm doing my own investigating on this, and all he said was that's fine, and that the case is still active, and they're following up on leads that they get every day. Basically, just a pretty much generic answer. And he won't say too much more than that. He won't tell me anything.
Okay. Do you happen to have his contact info?
Yes, I do.
Could you just message me that whenever we're done? Just, you could message it to just the same Facebook Messenger we've been kind of talking through.
Okay.
I might reach out to him and see if just see what I can gather from him. So kind of, this is just, I'm just kind of recapping because people are going to have questions. Do you think that the people that are, between your father and the father of do you believe those are the people involved in this? It seems like if they're the ones who kind of benefited from this life insurance policy that just was started, and then one payment in, your sister comes up murdered. Do you think these are the people responsible?
I believe they are.
Gotcha.
I mean, I don't see anybody else that would benefit from this, because my sister, I know everybody says when their family member dies, they were a good person, that they would do anything to help people out. But that's just how my sister was. She was outgoing, and she could go up to a total stranger and talk to him like she's known him for years. And she was a real sweet person. She would do anything to help anybody. She was always there for me. At the time, I was in an abusive marriage, and she did a lot to help me out. So she's a good person, and I can't see anybody that would want to hurt her except these people. These are the only people that would benefit from her dying from this life insurance policy. And things weren't really that good with her boyfriend at the time. I mean, they were always, they'd be together one minute, and then they'd break up, and then they'd get back together, and then they'd break up. And this went on for years throughout high school. And I had told her a few times to stay away from him, just to leave him alone, but she didn't listen. And In fact, one other thing that comes to mind was when we went to her apartment after this had happened, and because her landlord wanted the apartment cleared out so he could rent it out again. And I had found a photo album in her apartment. And in this photo album, it had a typed up letter, and it had said, it was talking about all the zodiac signs. And I remember that it was saying a little about each one, and in the end it would say how they would die. And it was kind of like a joke thing. Most of them was like not really serious things that wouldn't actually happen. But one thing that stood out was for her zodiac sign, it said, I believe she was Sagittarius, it said all Sagittariuses would be murdered.
Oh, wow.
And I was actually going to take that photo album, but I had sat it down somewhere, and then her boyfriend had come over to help with the cleaning out the apartment. But then after that, I couldn't find the photo album. So I'm thinking that maybe he took it.
Gotcha.
Maybe it was some kind of evidence. So, everything seems to point to him and his father and possibly my father. So I think that at least one, if not all of them, were somehow involved.
Okay. When you when you send me that law enforcement agent's info, will you also send me the name of her boyfriend and any info you have on him?
Yes.
Yeah, and so what I'll do is I will try to reach out to them and see if I can get them. Sometimes maybe just someone else calling and trying to get a hold of them. And then if you don't have contact info for the boyfriend, just give me the most info you have about him, his name and date, his estimated age and stuff, and we'll kind of, or where he, last known address or where he lived. That way we can kind of search him out and see if he'll talk to me. I'm sorry to hear this story. I'm sorry to, my condolences for you and your family and your sister and your other brother, that you've been going through this. And I will do whatever I can to bring awareness to the situation and see if we can't shake a few trees to get them to move forward, or at least put out a statement. Even if they were to give you guys some closure and to put out a statement that they believe the people that are, the main suspects in this of the deceased, it may give you a little bit of closure. I don't know if that would give you closure. I don't know what they can do if their suspects are deceased, or how much they will pursue stuff if you believe and if the evidence leads to kind of like these other people that are deceased. But I definitely wanted to give you a chance to have your sister's story out there for sure.
Okay, and I appreciate any help that you can give me.
Absolutely, Shirley. Hey, well, thank you for your time today, and I'll be in touch over the next couple of days, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Call ended.
So, a couple of days ago, Shirley reached out to me. She just asked if I could, talk about her sister and at least get the information out there. As you can see on the screen right now, my sister Margaret Durant was murdered on or around December 10th, 1987. She was last seen leaving her security job. Her apartment door was unlocked and open. Her body was later found 2 blocks from her apartment, and her car was abandoned in downtown Columbus, Ohio. She was believed to be raped and strangled. She was just 21 years old. She was 5'3", 101 pounds. Her murder is still unsolved. Please help us find her killer. If you have any info, contact the Grandview Heights Police Department. This is something that happens everywhere. People lose. People are victimized. People lose siblings to murder that are never solved. And sometimes it's just a simple, they don't want to feel alone in trying to figure out what happened. And so I decided to take the call and to listen to Shirley and the story of her sister. Over the next couple of days, as I get information from her about the people that were the main suspects involved, and law enforcement, we'll probably do a few more videos and calls as we just see if anybody will give us any more info. Thanks for joining. Share this video. If you want to check out Find My Sister's Killers on Facebook. I had that screen up a couple of times just so you know where you're looking. This is the Facebook page where her sister started, and a justice page. This is a picture of her sister. I'm sure that this is probably around the time of when this went down. This was 1987. To live with this for as long as she has, with no answers, it's got to be a torment. So, thanks again for watching. You're watching Dad with a Phone. You can follow me on all the pages below. If you want to support what I do or throw some money in the bucket, you can do that at the PayPal link below. We'll continue to look into this case and see what we can dig up. We'll make a couple of calls to the investigators at the police station to see if maybe they'll release the case info. If it's still an open case, they're not going to release discovery. If they classified it as a closed case, we may be able to get a hold of the discovery, the crime scene photos, the autopsy photos. Don't know if that's going to help anything at this point. It sounds like most of the people, it sounds like the couple of people that could have been involved. She even talked about her dad and her stepmother. I didn't get into the stepmother too much, but it sounds like that they're already deceased. And so these people may have gone to the grave with the truth about what happened. But we'll look into it to see if there's anything else we can find. Thanks for joining.